Hi guys, as promised, part 2. Let's get started.
Okay, let's skip back again. Because we started about the cost and modeling apartments and getting in debt with your agency and not going with people that are promise you the world if you give them 3,000 euros. You said you did walk-ins.
Yeah.
You said did walk-ins. Okay, let's explain what walk-ins are. It used to be a time that all the agencies for 2 or 3 hours, 1 day a week, it was open call. Anybody could walk in and introduce themselves. I'm quite sure now 100, 200 girls show up. It used to be a time you sit there, maybe it's 20 other girls, you know? Elite had maybe on Tuesdays from 1 to 3.
Every agency has their own time slot.
Exactly. There's some agencies that will still keep those open calls. So that's what she was talking about, walk-ins, and I did that also. A lot of agencies, they want you to contact them and email and they send some pictures. And they'll be like, okay, we're interested. They will invite you.
Yeah.
You'll say, I'm going to be in London. I'm going to be in New York on this time. To this time, can I stop by? And usually they'll give you an appointment if they're interested in you. That's the best way. That's the best way if you want to get yourself internationally. Like I said, save up that little bit of money.
Yeah.
Go do a week vacation. Hit all the agencies.
Yeah.
Another way is all you girls and boys have a lot of luck now with Instagram.
Yes.
And everything. Because you can post a good picture of you. And believe me, let me correct when I say Instagram. There's a difference in the quote Instagram model and a model on Instagram.
Yes,
okay?
There's a big difference.
I don't want to insult anybody, but if you really want to get in mainstream, international modeling, professional,
you'll see the pictures
no,
vary in quality.
no false nails.
There's no comparison.
No false eyelashes. No all this perfect contouring and everything. Look at both of us here. We have a little bit of makeup on, but it's only to accentuate the best parts. I have no blush. I have no eyeshadow on.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of concealer powder and a little bit of bronzer because my ass is not as tan as I want to be right now for the summer. I haven't caught up to Lee.
Yeah, I don't know what you've been doing. I'm my summer color already. I don't know what you've been doing, but it's important to try and obviously go like with, you're accentuating your features, but unfortunately on Instagram there's a certain body type that's being promoted at the moment and body parts that are a bit too out there. And like I said, each to his own, but there's definitely a difference between models on Instagram and Instagram models. If you want to be a model on Instagram, it is important to have high quality pictures. Quality at the end of the day will always speak for itself.
Don't play with filters. Don't rearrange your face. I mean, let me tell you, an artist would rather see a blank canvas that canvas has a couple of bubbles in it or a piece of pulled thread or is not perfect because when he lays his paint on it, then he knows what he has to work with.
Yeah.
Okay? They don't want to see pictures of you, everything done up. They don't know what the basis is to work with.
That's a very good example. At the end of the day, a model is supposed to be the blank canvas and the client is telling their story and they're going to promote what they want to promote through you. And so
perfectly said.
So it's also like acting. Sometimes that's actually one of the best things about modeling is you get to perform and be somebody new every day.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you do it right, you can definitely have a creative job and a fun job every day because you get there and you're like, okay, so who am I today? What attitude do I have? What sort of mood are we going for? And that's a creative process. That's a job that we like, but it is very difficult for Instagram models because they're basically coming with a finalized or a certain look and a certain type of, I guess, what's a nice way to say this?
Let's just say they follow the trends too much. And to be a top fashion model, you have to sometimes be outside the box.
Yeah, and you have to change. You cannot stay the same person, and like you're gonna have to change your looks continuously. I practically changed my hair color. I mean, last week I changed, but even something like cutting your hair, you need to be cutting your hair, dyeing your hair.
But you have to always get approval for your agency. Because if they sit there and book you on your old photos and you have long black hair here, and then all of a sudden the client thinks they're getting that, and you show up with a bob in blonde with a blue streak in the front.
Okay. I need these extensions taken out, a seriously deep conditioning. I'm thinking side bangs with some buttery highlights and maybe a few honey tones.
That's also very unprofessional. I mean, I think what models forget is at the end of the day, you are your own business, but at the same time, the business, it's not as, there are certain basic requirements to this business. And if you've presented yourself in your book or in your pictures, having a certain hair color, having a certain body weight, and this is not to body shame people, but if you presented yourself as being a size EU36 or whatever, then it is still unprofessional to pick up 10 kilograms. We're not talking about a 2-3 kilogram pickup. We're talking about 10 kilograms changes your size, the sizing on your card and the sizing that the client expects from you.
But that's the same with losing weight.
Exactly.
You can't have a client that does like sometimes I've worked with clients with bridal or evening wear and they want a little bit more here that fills out their topless
swimwear,
and then all of a sudden you've lost 5 kilos or 10 pounds that, and you come in there and they're like, hey, you're a size 2 and one of them more like size 4 or 6. Your face is also thinner. Everything is. You have to, how you start presenting yourself and how you create your image and what you're known for, you need to stay within that realm. You really do need to stay within.
And if you do decide to change it, which is not necessarily a bad thing, you need to update your book, you need to tell your agency. And that's why most of the time models do that gradually. It's to make a big leap is, can be risky, but it can be extremely profitable. There's a lot of girls that were very basic, maybe slightly boring looking, that have cut their hair and become like supermodels, So these are all things that can be done, but you definitely...
Linda Evangelista, Nadia Auermann, so many of them.
Names.
5 years ago, I shaved my head and went with a pixie blonde, platinum. I mean, I had hair like Lee and dark black.
Even longer than
dark black. And then I was like, unfortunately, both my parents grayed earlier. I had my first gray hair was 16. I got tired of fighting as the gray because my hair grows so fast. I said, you know what? It's easier for me to go blonde, and as some gray roots start growing in, you don't see it. So I went pure platinum blonde. I tried at first a little like bob, and then I was having to dye it everything. I just wanted to just dye everything and be so white blonde. I basically went zip and buzz cut it. But you know what?
So good. It looks so good.
And I wore that for about three and a half years. Yeah. I've only been starting to let it grow out a little bit in the last maybe a year and a half. But as soon as I did that, my book was boom.
Your book,
I had to contact my agencies, let them know I was doing that. I had to get in contact with photographers I was friends with. I had to do tests. Some photographers want a little money. Some don't want a little money. Some you have friendships you built with it. But even if you get a free test, those photos have to be printed out in 9x12 to go into your book. That costs money. So I probably, and also traveling, I flew to one city to go shoot with one photographer and everything. After I cut my hair, I probably laid out between 4,000 or 5,000 euros to totally redo my book and redo my image. But I wouldn't have been able to work without new pictures. Everybody wanted new pictures.
It's basically, if you don't do that, that's deceiving the client. It's being dishonest about like who you're presenting. And fine, there's wigs and things like that, but either you check with the client and say, listen, I've got a pixie cut, but if they want me with black hair, I have a couple of wigs. It's doable, but for the most part, you're going to have to try and keep the image, or at least let all your clients know and your agencies know this is the new look, but you have to update your pictures almost immediately because the old you is gone.
Yeah, exactly. You're totally.
And you're gonna
different
lose,
person.
and you're gonna lose clients because of that.
You will.
But
lose
you will
clients.
also gain new clients because they want like the new
Exactly.
edgy look for whatever reason. You know,
Yeah.
it's and that's something you also have to accept. You will probably lose a couple, but you'll gain a
Exactly,
couple too,
because
so.
you form a new image, and there's other clients looking at you. Maybe I was too like normal girl next door, too sweet girl, but then afterwards I was this punky, edgy girl with this white blonde, crew cut.
Yeah.
And everybody loved it. And
Unfortunately, clients don't always have a large imagination. I mean, I straighten my hair all the time too, but do you think they can imagine it? I have pictures in my book, and I said, no, it's not a big deal. But I mean, the two looks are completely different. But for me to tell them, oh no, it's not a big deal, like the hair goes down.
But that is a good thing. When we say before going to a casting, knowing your client so that you maybe have switched out some pictures in your book and everything. Also to know if they're looking for that girl with the straight hair. So you already straighten your hair when you go in the casting. Because like you said, it's hard for them to sometimes imagine that. You want to be prepared. You want to be the best version of what they're looking for when you walk in there.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Let's go back to starting out in an agency. Okay, we said how they could. Okay, I know what I want to bring up, because some are like, okay, until I save up that money that I can do that week in New York, I can do that week in London, I can do that week in Paris, Milan, Hong Kong, Singapore. Athens is also a good market.
They used to shoot a lot.
Yeah, they shoot a lot. They used to shoot a lot. You won't do a lot of runway, but you can go spend 3 months in Athens and come back. They have some of the best stylists and photographers and makeup artists, locations, and just bounce over over to an island. You come back with some great tear sheets.
Yeah.
Some very artistic tear sheets. And there's other countries like Barcelona is known for that. It's very nice. Tel Aviv. Go to Israel. Tel Aviv has some good agencies. Yeah. It's hotspots, and actually the Scandinavian countries. Actually, when it comes to smaller fashion weeks, before you break into big London, New York, Paris fashion week, Stockholm has a good fashion week. Copenhagen's fashion week, and it's very, very good. So look into those things. And okay, let's start with, maybe you've been trying to get into an agency and you're having problems. And maybe you do live in a city where there is a market. Some jobs that you can apply for and get yourself privately, the best thing to start out is with showrooms. Showrooms.
Yeah.
Because find out, every every designer, you can Google and see where their showroom is. You can send them an email with a bunch of pictures. You can do it old school and send them your Z card in the mail and say, I'm willing to, work in the showroom and everything. Showroom. How should we describe showroom? Showroom is showroom is when the main buyers of the big stores, let's say Saks Fifth Avenue, Harrods in London, Selfridges, Neiman Marcus, everybody comes and they want to see the designer's new collection. They send their buyers. That collection has to be shown, and they decide what their order is, which fits to their store. They need models to show that. If you look at old real films from like 30s, 40s, and 50s, that's how modeling was done.
Yeah.
They didn't do like these major runway shows. They did what they call tea room shows. You'd have all these round tables set up with certain press, certain buyers, so important socialites that also had the money to buy the new collection from Christian Dior, Cristobal Balenciaga,
and the list goes
Pierre
on.
Balmain, Jean Laurent. All the big designers back in the day, and they had models that would come out and they would pose and they would come and present the clothes. They would come close enough to the people they could feel the fabric, see how it flows and everything. And basically that's how it works in the showroom. When you have Saks Fifth Avenue there, or the buyer from Bergdorf Goodman, you're going to come to her table. You're going to show the clothes that she's picked out. She's going to ask, how does it fit, everything. You have to be very personable also. Because some buyers talk
to you. As
some buyers treat the model like piece of crap.
Actually, some of them do. But some of them are really nice. At the end of the day, they're there to shop on a live mannequin. So to
Yeah,
speak.
exactly. You're basically a walking hanger.
Yeah.
Your job is to show the clothes the best. And a lot of times I've been in some dresses that didn't fit so right. I had to take some extra time to make it look right before I
Yeah.
walk out there.
Brace yourself. Suck it in. Squeeze those cheeks, sister.
But you have to present it at its best. And with showrooms, a lot of designers will book private on the showrooms. They don't want to go through the agency. It doesn't make sense. I know some girls that only make all their money in showroom, and they bounce from city to city when it's showroom time and when the trade shows are going on and they need girls in showroom. You can also, in cities like New York and London, you have to tell me about Milan, because I did not do a lot of runway in Milan.
Well, I mean, I did one or two shows, but I mean...
You got booked through the agency.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we know Milan's market. I mean, they'll sometimes... You basically are not doing a Milan show necessarily for money. You are doing it for prestige.
Exactly.
And sometimes for experience, which is really great. There's nothing wrong with that. But depending on what you're or why you're in the I'm in the business to make money, or for me it's a job, and I appreciate the creativity or sometimes the glamour of it, but I do not need the prestige. It's my job. So I just wanted to point out one of the things you said about the showroom is one of the most important things that the girls should remember about showroom and the basics in general is showroom is where a buyer directly sees you, and you actually have your client directly there, the one who is paying for your services, which means that this is where old school modeling is really important. You need to take care of your skin. You need to have good teeth. You need to take care of your appearance, your hair, because none of those things can be retouched. None of those things can be, edited. Like that is where...
No Instagram or Snapchat
nothing.
filters.
There's no filter.
You up and close.
I think that's the thing that I really think that a lot of models forget is that at the end of the day, you really still need to, the basics are still really important. Looking after your hair, your skin, your nails, your hands, general health.
Lots of water.
Lots of water.
I enjoy my wine, but I always have a full glass of water with every glass of wine.
Exactly. Hydrate yourself, take care of yourself. You have to still look the part, because to me, one of the reasons people used to, admire models so much is because they had like beauty that was inside and out. And Macon is right, we are not always like fully in makeup, full face. That's when your skin, and when you go to a casting that is for a makeup brand, for a skin brand, they want you there without any makeup on. And that's when your skin and your teeth, nails, hair, that's when how you take care of yourself is gonna make the big difference. So showroom, I think that's also a very good example of where people are really up close. They're like literally, I wouldn't say poking and prodding, but they're touching the material. They're asking you to turn around. They're, sometimes they'll even ask you, listen, can I see the nape of the neck, depending on the design of the clothes. So you really have to take care of yourself. Don't neglect or don't just rely on like editing skills and retouching. And at the end of the day,
only when you're on an editorial job, and don't even believe
and
that either.
even then.
I remember I showed up to a photo shoot and I was a little sick, had a little extra rings under my eyes and everything. I was like, okay, I'll be all right. But then they decided they liked my little sick look and made it more of grungy.
Yeah.
The magazine and photographer, everybody was happy with, but I never put those photos in my book. Because I actually I looked like I was partying 5 days, but I actually was just getting over a cold, and yeah. So it's
about just taking care of yourself. Like that's the basics. Do not underestimate that internal beauty, or just taking care of yourself is still very important.
And natural beauty is natural beauty.
Yeah.
Girls, no fake nails. Do not go to casting. Do not go to the job with long ass acrylic nails. I don't care. Yeah, mine are a little bit longer, but these are all mine. They're only polished with SC color, SC polish. And then you see, I just broke one, so that was real as hell. No fake eyelashes. I mean, you can accent a row of eyelashes, something you can take off immediately, not for casting or anything if you go out and everything. But these girls who get these eyelash extensions that are permanent, that they stay on for a while. No designer wants to see that. Maybe they're booking for your job and they want to get really funky with the makeup and they put on some kind of blue glitter eyelashes.
Or sunglasses or whatever, or a mask.
I mean,
so try and keep it as natural as possible.
Tattoos are a little bit accepted.
Yeah, these days it's...
but still be reasonable.
Yeah.
I had to get mine removed from my ankle that I got at a young age, a big tribal mark, because my legs, everybody liked, and it was a certain pantyhose stocking company. They wanted me, but they did not want that tattoo. When you have intricate design and lace pantyhose, there's too much Photoshop work to then remove the tattoo.
And at least, luckily they do have makeup to cover it up. But if you're
you're doing a lookbook and you're putting on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 20 different pairs of pantyhose a day, that makeup's going to get rubbed off. They're going to see that. So I finally had to pay so much money and had the thing lasered off. And believe me, the pain from lasering is 100 times more expensive from a tattoo.
I mean, if you really have to or want to get a tattoo, just consider that it might not be liked.
It can be hidden.
And maybe get something small. I mean, a lot of models love the back tattoos, smaller. I mean, it's...
I still have the one under my arm, but when I'm walking on the runway, you don't see that. That can be hidden.
I mean, these days it's not such a big hindrance.
But I still see some girls trying to get sleeves.
Yeah, like a sleeve is a bit complicated.
A big thing on your back.
Back is a bit complicated.
You know, things around your boobs and, you know.
Yeah, be wise with
be wise with the
your choice of tattoo. It's obviously not a death knell to your modeling career.
It's not a death.
But it is something to consider.
But you have to be careful. It does limit you. Let's say you could be a girl that's full tattooed, really short.
There's also an industry for that.
It is an industry, but it's still going to limit the clients. If you want to keep yourself more universal and be able to hit more clients, then you have to keep yourself open from the conservative to the more like flashy clients. Okay, let's see. What have we talked about? We've talked about how you left South Africa, how I ended in Europe. We did walk-ins.
Yes, we did.
Okay, but now I think, we were talking about Instagram and we got off on how to style yourself on Instagram.
Oh my gosh, we always get a bit like... We always branch off.
But we never forget. We never forget. We come back. But what we were saying about Instagram, the best way, if you go and follow all the major agencies, most of the times they'll say, want to be scouted, tag. Yeah. And they'll say, tag this, tag that. Or if you just tag them and put at whatever agency you're interested in, you know how Instagram works. They get a post that somebody tagged them. Either they click on it or they click on it. Or don't click on it. But if you put a nice, beautiful, natural picture of you, no filters, no changing whatever, leave yourself how you are. Believe in yourself. Believe in your beauty.
But lighting is important, though.
Lighting is important. Okay. But things
keep it clear, but lighting is important.
Okay.
It is important.
Mr. DeMille,
this lighting.
Ready for my close-up? Yeah.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Good lighting, but no filters, no changing your skin, no changing the shape of your face. But eventually, they have to see you in person. Hello? Yeah. You have to be the same person in the picture.
You have to be the same
person. But it's a really good thing with the Instagram and the TikTok and everything and the Snapchat and what else is going on with the young people?
Too many things.
We're so old, We're
not that old, but there's a lot of stuff popping up every day.
Yeah.
So the great thing is you guys have opportunities through these avenues that we didn't even have back then. It doesn't mean that you can't do it the old school method. A lot of girls... if you're savvy, more tech savvy, and you want to do it through the social media channels, then do that. But I think at the end of the day, the basics always apply. So like Macon says, try to keep it as unfiltered or as natural as possible, but a good lighting, and believe in yourself. Your personality is supposed to push you through.
Your nose can be a little crooked. Your tooth can be a little crooked. When it comes to fashion modeling, you don't have to be the ultimate beauty.
You know,
I'd even go
Sometimes
as far as saying beauty is not even the most essential thing in modeling
No,
anymore.
it's personality.
Yeah.
And I find that the girls that are more successful have a little bit of a strange beauty to them. I love calling it strange beauty. Something that's not, it's a little quirky or something. You just have to find your
especially
style.
in fashion and editorial things.
Yeah,
But if you're
fashion,
even if you're a
editorial.
conventional beauty, that's not enough. You're gonna have to. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful women out there. There's actually it's too many.
It's some that aren't even interested in modeling.
It's not enough just to be beautiful. You're gonna have to fight for it. You need to show your clients, your booker, your agency, everybody that you want it.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to, go with the, roll with the times, sort of be
Change
ahead of the
yourself.
curve, change yourself.
You have
keep your values, but
Yeah.
you need to be able to change it. But
You have to reinvent yourself sometimes.
yourself, yeah.
Not follow every trend, because every trend is not,
Not
for
for
you.
you. Yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
every trend is not for you. But you do have to. You can't model for 10 years and have the same color and same hair length and not have
same
changed
pictures
something.
in your book, yeah.
Yeah, you have to change something. Now, I do want to go back to when we were talking about before we got on Instagram. Okay, so we did walk-ins.
Yeah.
We did emailing agencies to reach out to them. And we said how Instagram, you can also socially.
Yeah.
But then we were also talking, if you're in a town, small marketing build-up, we said one ways you can privately connect and get jobs.
Yeah.
Showroom's the best way. Probably in every city, you can work on showroom. Probably in every city, there's somebody doing some kind of hair show.
Yeah.
There's some up-and-coming small designer on a small level. Even when it comes to the major fashion weeks, the only fashion week, I know a lot of girls move to Paris. Let me tell you, any given time, you can throw a baguette on the streets of Paris and you can hit 30 beautiful girls that are inspiring to be models, are perfect to be models. They can be hostesses in restaurants, everything. But Paris is set up with the organization that you have to be registered and be to even be on the main schedule to show within the fashion week. And then they have rules to protect the agencies, that the models have to be with the agency, and they have controllers that come around and check that. You have to be booked through an agency to be on a major show. And the thing is, and you have to show up with a voucher from your agency that then has to be signed by somebody.
I wonder if they still do that. They probably do that.
Yeah, but they do that to protect the agencies. Because to tell you the whole truth, if I was an up-and-coming designer and didn't have a lot of money, I would just hang out at some cool restaurants.
So many beautiful women,
and girls working down the street. I would ask 20 girls and be like, whatever, book. But you know what? That still can happen in New York.
Yeah, that's
still can happen in
can
London.
happen everywhere.
Do you know how many times I've been spoken on the street and booked a job in New York where it just happened? Oh, I have free time. I'll go do. It wasn't like a big show because somebody didn't really have the money, but enough they threw me a little $100, $200, and I did a presentation. You know how they do a presentation of the collection. Some Brooklyn designer or somebody who just moved to New York.
I think that's also another. Don't be afraid to start small. Like just on that point, I think a lot of people expect that they're going to immediately book
their first job,
book whatever. But most likely you're going to have to. The majority of models just do the bread and butter is doing catalogs or online shoots or online catalogs.
Well, online is, that's another thing we can mention, because a lot of the online companies you can find by Googling them, because not every designer or every store has their own online company. Yeah. They have out-of-house companies that only do online photography. Yeah. And if you introduce yourself to them, and some of those online companies, they pay some good money. They pay like $500, $600, $700 a day. You're probably there 8 hours shooting 20 different designers. Yeah. But if you get booked 10 days in a row, honey, you can live from that a month or two.
I think the important thing is just to remind people, don't be shy that you're not going to start out big. Everyone has to work their way up, and even if it's just a matter of doing the smaller shows, showrooms, whatever, if only to build your own confidence, and if only to find your own rhythm in the business. So I think that's something that a lot of young girls should. You're not going to get there immediately. I think only 0.005%, if you're even lucky, are gonna hit it big ever. So, but you can still make money. But don't be afraid or don't be shy. Don't be discouraged just because you're starting small. We've all started with the small jobs, and you just network. You learn the business. You learn about yourself. You learn about, like I said, your body, your face, what works, what doesn't
confidence,
work.
how to pose. Always, always
that.
practice. I still play in the mirror because your face changes with every year of
Exactly. Yeah,
aging. I was
definitely.
like, okay, I used to thought that look was good, but maybe I need to suck in the chin, tongue suck to the roof of the mouth.
That was such an old school trick.
Yeah, but I still do that. I love that.
But even if it's whether it's relevant
You have
or not,
no chicken neck when you do that.
Even noticing things like, hey, is that makeup trend still relevant? Is that pose still relevant? Is everyone's? Are people still doing? Exactly. Are people still doing a duck face or?
I don't think only people who do duck faces is selfies. Have you ever seen an editorial with the duck?
Of course, but what I mean is no.
Okay.
But that model look though with the lips. I mean, it's a model duck face and a smize or whatever.
It's more the pistol. Yeah, smize.
Point is, you have to ask yourself, is that even relevant? Are we still doing that this year? Because the modeling agency, the trends also change every year. So, I think all the makeup artists are always so upset because back in the day you could do full glam, and these days it's just clear skin, eyebrow.
Right. Sometimes they don't even want concealer because they want the model to look tired. I'm like, dude, I got 12 hours of sleep for you, and now you're gonna make me look tired.
I always feel bad for the makeup artists because they bring out their full kit for clear skin, a bushy eyebrow, and maybe a highlighter.
They need 3 products. Yeah. They have 20 minutes of work, and
it's really so. The point I was trying to make is you have to follow those type of trends as well, just to see if it's even worth it. But in the end of the day, don't be upset if you don't book it big at the beginning. We all had to start somewhere. You will too, and just suck it up. Enjoy the process.
I love the process. Let me tell you, if I know everybody says that if I could have the years of experience now, but still be younger and with the know-how and the years of experience, oh my God, I would have been a badass. How many times did I fall on my face? How many times did I make mistakes? How many times did I trust somebody here? How many times it's even my agency thought the contract was correct, and somehow the client got out of using images for me another 2 years, and I didn't get paid for it. Or somebody stole.
There's so many things.
It's so many things you can go through. But one thing also when looking for an agency, because we are both girls of color, and I don't care how that gets more accepted, you will always see an agency, they'll have, especially a big agency, they'll have 500-600 white girls that look the same in their cartel and in their thing.
Allowed to have
and then they'll have 20 maybe girls of color and maybe 3 that they push. And there's it used to be a time, like I said, going back to my throwing a baguette in the streets of Paris, you could throw a baguette in any street of Paris and you will hit a couple with a very beautiful dark-skinned African woman with a white Frenchman. They love the beauty of the black woman.
Yeah,
but years ago, you go to an agency in Paris. Well, we already have one black girl.
Yeah.
And?
Oh no, we already have.
But you have 400 white blondes with blue eyes. I mean, come on.
We've come a long way, but trust me, do not be fooled.
And we've also come through phases.
Yeah,
because it was a time.
We're not a trend. We're supposed to be the norm too.
Yeah, we are the norm,
fashion,
and they go through a trend. This is skip times when they start accepting the darker skinned woman, but she still had to have a little bit of European features. She couldn't have too much of a wide nose. She couldn't have the total 4C hair. And they went through that. And then they went through a time when they were going that in-between girl was easier. And then it was totally the Brazilian market. Yeah. And not that I ever lied to anybody. Well, let's say if somebody thought I was Brazilian, let's say I didn't correct them.
I've definitely been booked a lot.
Because exactly. Exactly. So. And then, of course, with the Alec Weck, she brought in a beautiful, dark skin, beautiful statuesque, short hair African girl. And then Naomi Campbell brought in that beautiful brown skin look, and just this is a perfect body and everything. But it goes through phases. There's times when they'll accept girls that are a little bit more racial ambiguous. And then there are times when they say they want a black girl, we're not black enough for them.
Yeah.
They want that pure, dark-skinned African girl that there's no question that they're black. And believe me, more power to them, because I know in my career...
they've been disadvantaged
They've been disadvantaged more.
If we even think about what we've gone through, they've gone through 20,000
Yeah,
times
exactly.
worse.
That's why
So
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it.
Let them get their chance, because I've squeezed by a lot of times being in that ambiguous. I still get turned down many times.
Yeah.
But those beautiful dark-skinned women, I felt so gorgeous. Vida Ducky, Lupita Nyong'o.
I'm as an African myself like this. I mean, the beautiful woman that I've seen that back home in South Africa, where like, oh my, if the industry could just wake up even back then and you just be internally so upset, because like now, thankfully, finally, we are the models and people exit the media. And we, the people, are pushing back, saying, no, we want diversity. We want more Asian people. We want more people of different body shapes. We want more black people. We want everything. And LGBTQ plus, everybody.
Trans. Honey,
I mean,
I've walked on the runway with some trans women.
It's just beautiful that it's changing, but it shouldn't be a trend.
Bodies. I mean, come on.
A phase.
Why?
Because you're right. Fashion does do that. We have to push to continue this sort of
Exactly.
way.
And when you say the Asian, I also feel like a lot of the Asian women are being forgotten, and especially the little bit of darker skinned Asian women. For a long time, they were booking the Chinese girl, the Korean girls, but they had to have that white porcelain skin and everything. Yeah, it's this, you have so many South Pacific beautiful Asian women. And, I mean, come on, women, men. It doesn't matter if you're born a man and you become a beautiful woman. Doesn't matter if you're born a woman and you become a beautiful model man. I don't care. If you stand there, and you can bring across such an elegance, such a beauty, such a
energy,
energy.
That's something people can't deny. If you have certain something about you, people should book you regardless.
The best models are not the most beautiful ones, but they're the ones you walk in the room and you're like, damn. Who's that guy?
Yeah,
who's that girl?
Yeah,
that's
when you skip. You want to change that magazine page, but you're stuck there because of that emotion or
like,
of the eyes,
what
of the aura.
draws me into that picture.
Yeah.
And it could be because great makeup, the great hair, the styling and everything, the whole ambiance of the picture, but the model. And that's another thing. When we were talking about acting before, and you were saying how that as a model, it's a great job because every day you get to be a different person.
Yeah, different character.
People think we have it so damn easy. They think, she's getting made up. She's getting her hair done. She can just sit there and relax. No. An actress has a running reel of film with movement, with speech, a monologue, a dialogue, expression that can change. She has a moving film to bring over the mood, or the mood of the role, or to express the character and what's going on. We have one frame, one shot, one face look, one body pose, one whatever to make that shot. Bam!
Bam!
That's the shot.
And that's the thing. You could be shooting for hours, but most likely they'll take one frame from each outfit. You'll get one frame or one editorial look that's going to be the one where the body, the expression, where something that just says bam.
Yeah, so, it's something about it. And I must say that I have a little bit of a nickname called the One Shot Wonder, because when a photographer tells me what he wants, is somehow I get into that zone. Yeah. And when I start having to keep shooting everything, something goes down, and it's always the shot that ends up being, wow, that shot is one of the first three. So they're like, why did I waste the time to shoot the other ones?
I mean, that's another thing. I think you get better at it the more, obviously, the more you shoot.
I play in the mirror. I play in front of the camera. You have to, just like an actress always goes to,
And sometimes it takes time. Listen, it's not, we have bad days too. We're human beings. Sometimes you just like, you have to wake up at 4 a.m., you're half sick or whatever, or you just basically came from one city to the next.
Exactly.
it's not necessarily that it's an automatic process that you're just going to get it from the word go or connect with a photographer or with your team. But it definitely comes with experience. The more you do it, the more you know what are your own personality traits for you to let go, to trust the photographer, to trust the process or whatever. And that's something, like I said, that's something you can't buy, or that's something that's not always as simple as just going on Instagram and taking one shot or a couple of shots. Because you have to remember, a model is working full, like 9 to 10 hours a day, and you have to sustain that energy for shooting all these clothes and keeping the mood and
or shooting a music video or one camera gets broken, they have to fly in another camera because they have a body cam that's built with the cameraman. Another one gets broken, they fly it in. I was on a video shoot 36 fucking hours.
Yeah, there's like so many things, but you have to be able to sustain the energy, and that's why I totally agree with you, Macon. It's not as if models just sit there and look beautiful. That's not even a quarter of the job. Like, the whole job is, I mean, it's you're trusting the team and everybody comes together, and definitely the photographers and makeup artists, they do brilliant jobs. But at the end of the day, you still need to bring the energy and you still need to perform, because if you don't, and if you're not bringing any energy, whether it's like a good vibe or there's just good connection between you and the team, it's gonna basically show.
Yeah, it's gonna show. And I also feel like in the first 3 to sometimes 5 years, when you really start doing it seriously, it's just like any job. If you start young enough, your agency is going to be sending you on every little job, and they're going to make you do 12 shows to 20 shows a week during Fashion Week. You have to build up the experience.
Yeah.
It takes about 5 years, then they start suggesting you for campaigns. You start getting some good editorials. You start booking exclusively for some shows that you're not just like every little job. And then connect with people in the business. Somebody that's like trying to become let's say you're in a smaller town and you want to be a model. You know somebody at your school in high school that has interest in photography. Get together. He or she can learn his or her style in photography, and out of it, maybe you get some awesome photos to send away to the agencies.
And if only just to taste out your body and taste out like what is this all about?
How do I move this?
Exactly.
Yeah, and
knowing your body. How do I?
We probably need to do a video on just posing, because one of the photographers that I worked with when I was very young, maybe 17, 18 years, we're still friends now. We still shoot a lot of stuff together. One thing he taught me. And when he said it to me, he said it so gruff, I had to fight back the tears, but it was a piece of information I never took away from me. I moved somehow from a pose to here and here. He was like, in that move, I lost 6 different shots. You should only move little.
True, yeah.
Listen to me. So if I move one shoulder, he's like, keep that pose. Then you keep the pose, and you maybe only move your face a little bit. Move this.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, give me something else. And you move a little bit.
Slow dance that
it's like a sort of 2 millimeters, centimeters at a time, and only change the face and everything, because from one shot. But that's a whole nother video.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, that's something you don't know. When you're younger, you're excited and you're moving, you're hectic, the excitement gets to you, and you basically lose. It is basically like a flow of movement. But once you're confident in yourself, you know what works. You know why these slow movements and slight head changes it could change the game in a picture. Sometimes, like you said, you've been in a position, you've rapidly moved too, but then the photographer might show you and say, listen, that was the previous pose, which would have been great if you had just moved your head slightly up. And then you see it, then you're like, oh, okay, that was a bit dumb to move so quickly. But that's experience is the best.
Experience is the best teacher. Yeah.
Hi guys. Okay, that was the end of part 2. Of course, part 3 is coming soon. So I need you to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you'll know when that's coming. I hope to see you then. Bye.